From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Friday, November 7th. I'm Abby Larico. A St. Louis filmmaker and author is taking his novel to the big screen. The family dramedy Mr. Wonderful stars the late Michael Madsen, who is known for his roles in Quentin Tarantino films.
The movie's about legacies, and look at the legacy that I'm hoping the film has for him a little bit. He took some real risks and chances here, and they really paid off.
Daniel Blake Smith sat down with St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis to talk about his new film. That conversation coming up after this news on The Gateway. St. Louis police are investigating an assault on a guard at the City Justice Center. A police department spokesman says officers were called to the downtown jail around 6:30 Wednesday night. An initial investigation found a 22-year-old detainee had assaulted a 40-year-old corrections officer. That officer was taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries to his face. The assault occurred the same week another detainee died after suffering a medical emergency at the jail. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has filed a 7th charge against the St. Louis sheriff. It's the latest move in her effort to remove Alfred Montgomery from office permanently. Hanaway's new argument is that Montgomery is in violation of a statute requiring officials to personally devote time to performance of their duties, something the Attorney General says the sheriff cannot do while he's behind bars. He has been jailed for weeks for violating the terms of bond in a different federal case. Other charges in the removal case include Montgomery ordering the handcuffing of the acting jail director and refusing to transport detainees for medical treatment. A St. Louis circuit judge temporarily took him off the job until the trial, which is set for November 18th. A city program offering financial aid to displaced tenants and tornado victims has yet to take any applications more than a year after that program was established. STLPR's Kayvon Mansouri has more.
The Board of Aldermen originally approved funding for the Impacted Tenants Fund in 2023 through American Rescue Plan funds, but the program has yet to accept any applications. That's due to what officials at the city's Human Services Department call legal hurdles. Approved applicants would receive a month of rent and upfront expenses like a security deposit to move to new housing. The city hoped the program would also help tornado victims. Ward 9 Alderman Michael Browning says the city badly needs to start the program.
It's been a year and a half since we passed the Impacted Tenants Fund. It's been 6 months since the tornado.
Human Services Director Adam Pearson says he hopes to start accepting applications for the program in the next 2 weeks. I'm Kayvon Mansouri, St. Louis Public Radio.
A new initiative in St. Louis will aim to help people facing a gap in their SNAP coverage this month. The 2025 City Food Insecurity Fund launched yesterday and is now accepting monetary donations online. It is a partnership between the United Way, Integrated Health Network, St. Louis Area Food Bank, Operation Food Search, and City Hall. 1 in 5 St. Louis residents rely on supplemental nutrition assistance benefits each month, according to the program's announcement. That meant more than $11 million in SNAP aid for St. Louisans in September. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to restore funding for the federal food program by today, but there are still questions about how that money will be dispersed. Donations can be made at helpingpeople.org/cityfoodfund. We also have information on where you can donate and find food resources around the area right now at stlpr.org. Missouri U.S. Senator Eric Schmitt says that the longest government shutdown in American history may be close to a conclusion, but as St. Louis Public Radio's Jason Rosenbaum reports, the Republican lawmaker says that subsidies for health insurance remain a key sticking point.
Democrats have voted against a budget plan without extending subsidies for insurance that people can obtain through the Affordable Care Act. They say that not keeping them in place will cause millions of people to lose their health care. Schmidt says Democrats wanted to wait until after elections in New Jersey and Virginia concluded before coming to an endgame on the shutdown.
There's nothing that's rational about this for the Democrats other than this is an effort by many of them to show that they're willing to fight against Trump, and they didn't want to do anything before the energy of Tuesday's election. So I think I'm still hopeful that it ends this week.
The shutdown is prompting a reduction in air travel and stop the distribution of SNAP benefits. In Washington, D.C., I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
You can listen to Schmidt's St. Louis On the Air interview today at noon and 7 p.m. or at stlpr.org. St. Louis Lambert International Airport is not among the 40 airports nationwide facing flight changes as the FAA plans to reduce flight traffic by 10% starting today. The preliminary list of affected airports includes Chicago, Denver, New York, and so many travelers starting or ending their trip in St. Louis will have fewer options. The FAA is slashing flights because of the government shutdown, which has placed more stress on air traffic controllers and TSA agents in many airports. The director of Lambert says the airport has not been affected directly by the shutdown, but travelers have experienced more delays and cancellations because of problems at other airports. New Missouri data shows that the majority of St. Louis area students are continuing to make strides in academic performance. STLPR's Hiba Ahmed reports.
The annual performance report awards public school systems a score based on academic performance, attendance, and other factors. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education releases the report every year. DESI found that over 92% of Missouri students attend public schools that meet or exceed expectations. But some superintendents caution putting too much emphasis on one number. Chris Kilbride is the superintendent of the Rittner School District in St. Louis County.
Trying to distill, the complex work that we do of educating every student every day and running an educational organization down to one number is very difficult to do.
The scores will not be used to lower district accreditation this year. I'm Hiba Ahmed, St. Louis Public Radio.
The education report card in Illinois shows graduation rates in the state have reached a 15-year high, but other measures for high school students are lagging behind. 89% of Illinois' class of 2025 got a high school diploma, according to last week's report. State Superintendent Tony Sanders credited billions of additional state funding in recent years, which he says gives schools more resources for programs such as advanced placement.
These opportunities keep students engaged and on track for success.
But 1 in 3 high school students was considered chronically absent, which means missing more than 10% of the school year. And the average ACT score was 18.1. That's below the national average. The new film Mr. Wonderful makes its St. Louis premiere on Tuesday at the St. Louis International Film Festival. It's the work of St. Louis-based writer Daniel Blake Smith, who adapted the screenplay from his 2018 novel of the same name. St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis spoke with Smith about the film. It features the late Michael Madsen of Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill fame in one of his final leading roles, playing a fictionalized version of Smith.
He plays this jaded professor about to be kicked out at his university, surrounded by a bunch of entitled, unruly students and so forth.
Professor Fenton?
Yeah.
You gave me a D on the midterm, which, respectfully, sir, is ludicrous.
The fact that you didn't get an F is what's ludicrous, cowboy.
I just decided that this guy, being kind of a stand-in for me with a lot of added-on problems, would make for an interesting story, especially when he's not only facing his own near forced retirement by the university, but is struggling with a wayward son who is being chased by drug dealers, can't get his act together at all.
You got to get rid of all these derelicts and all these fools that are hanging around in front of your life. Okay, just be done with it, Danny. Okay?
I know, Dad. That's why I'm here.
And then the other side of it is his own father, Brian Fenton, Professor Brian Fenton's own father, Robert, is very much drawn from life. My own father, different first name, had the same issues with aging and dementia toward the end that afflicted Brian Fenton.
You want to put me in some nursing home? Huh?
No.
Was it challenging to write it in the first place and to kind of dig deep into some of your own personal experiences to write that story?
The story came out pretty easily, except that it was really hard to talk about some sections involving my father's own struggles with dementia, because that is a hopeless, currently still hopeless condition.
specifically with Michael Madsen, who plays the main character, Brian Fenton. He's well known for roles in Quentin Tarantino films.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite? Oh, Christ. Hey, look.
When you wrote the screenplay, or even the book, was he a person that was in the back of your mind even to play Brian Fenton?
You know, I can't say that he was, not because I thought about him and said, no, he's wrong. It's just he was not doing Tarantino films anymore and had kind of left the main stage of American cinema, despite still having the chops to do it. He just wasn't being offered the parts. I spoke with my good friend Mark David, who directed my other film. He said, this guy's aching to try something different, and I'm aching to direct him, because he's just, I think you can say the camera loves him. I mean, he just has that look about him.
Some of this film deals with trauma. I mean, did this film take on any new meaning for you after, Madsen's death?
The movie's about legacies, and look at the legacy that I'm hoping the film has for him a little bit. He took some real risks and chances here, and they really paid off.
And the film, of course, is also funny. There's a lot of humor in it, especially with the son and his girlfriend.
All of a sudden, here you are, and everything's copacetic.
Yeah.
What's copacetic?
It means all good.
Yeah.
Well,
we're good.
Brian,
What do you want the main, the main takeaway of the film to be?
I guess I want people to walk out thinking this is not the full, but a lot of life, good, bad, and indifferent, that goes on in every family. It's serious. You have to be attentive because we're all trying to find purpose and meaning. And these guys figured it out in ways they hadn't imagined.
That was St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis with author and filmmaker Daniel Blake Smith. For more of that conversation, visit stlpr.org. Our Jessica Rogan edited that piece. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Abby Larico, and from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.